Welcome back to Red Business in Focus with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices. Now this week we are joined by Jack Norman and Fiona McCarthy of Zirkulu. Now they are an outdoor apparel company built on the principles of the circular economy, using bio-based and renewable materials to create their products. Jack and Fiona, we are very much looking forward to hearing your story, and you're very welcome to the podcast. We've met before because you guys were part of this year's Ignite programme, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But I'm going to begin, Jack. You have 30 seconds. Fiona's chickened out of this. You have 30 seconds to tell us what the business is all about.
So Zirkulu is an outdoor brand built on the principles of the circular economy. So we focus on creating technical products from renewable and bio-based materials. So our first product is the Endurance Shell Jacket, which is made from a sugarcane byproduct. So essentially what we're trying to do is replace plastic-based clothing. The original idea behind the Zirkulu is we actually started in Kinsale as a lockdown project, and we looked into recycling nylon fishing nets and turning that into a fabric that we could use to make the jacket. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue with that project. There's already an established market buying the nylon nets. So we kept looking into the project further, and the more we thought about it, the more it makes sense to actually focus on materials that are bio-based and renewable.
Yeah, Sean, you should have done the 30 seconds. He was barely keeping it in time there, but he did well. He got that in. I love the idea of the lockdown project, because so many of the businesses that we have featured so far are lockdown projects. Where did you start? I mean, what was the genesis of it for you?
So I suppose it started on a lockdown walk. So Jack and I are both from Kinsale, which is obviously heavily influenced by the fishing industry. And we'd noticed that there was a Fishing for Litter campaign being run by BIM, which be the fisheries body here in Ireland, called Fishing for Litter. So we just got wondering what was happening with the materials that were being brought ashore, like end-of-life fishing nets and things. And just had a couple of chats with harbour masters and people in and around our local area, and it just kind of kicked off from there.
Now, there's easier ways to make money than picking litter off the ground and turning it into clothing. So there's a passion that's coming from somewhere. Would you always have had an interest in the environment and recycling?
I guess the main passion was more for the outdoors. So I think Fiona and I think even just the winter before, we were in France together skiing, and I think it was just almost more of a passion for the adventure, and then just trying to combine like a really meaningful hands-on project where we could actually feel like we're making a change.
What I like about the story is that you tried something and it didn't work, right? So let's talk about that, because we don't talk about failure enough when it comes to business journey. So you mentioned that it didn't quite go as planned. So what went wrong? Why couldn't you progress that project?
Sure. So I think, having had a couple of initial conversations with local harbour masters and a gentleman based in West Cork who's kind of been involved in trying to recycle nets here in Ireland for the last 20 years or so, we realised that it was almost a bit of a dead end because of how many other people are recycling fishing nets in Europe and then turning those nets into a material that can be used to create outdoor jackets. So we thought that the next logical step in creating any form of a jacket would be to move to more of a plant-based material, with how things have gone in the last 10 years or so, with more of a move to green energies and green foods and things like that. We just said we'd do a bit of research and let us down a track.
Yeah, so this has brought us to this, right? So what is this jacket made? Lovely branding, by the way, very strong. What is this made out of then?
So the outer layer of this jacket is made from 58% sugarcane byproduct, so it's not competing with the food chain. And then it's combined with recycled materials as well, so recycled polyester, to complete the jacket fabric composition. Yeah. The plan in the long run will be to move to 100% bio-based materials, which is possible, and we have it in development for future products.
I'm a very simple consumer, and I mean that insofar as when I'm buying a jacket, I want it to keep me dry. Will this keep me dry? Will the sugarcane prevent the rain from getting to my head?
Absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, coming to Ireland, it had to do its function as well. So it is very waterproof, and it's something. It's cool to make the products from sugarcane, but it's also more important that they stand up to the conditions that they're made for.
But it feels really good. It feels like you'd expect a jacket of this nature to be. The market, though, is huge, and you've got big fish, pardon the pun, out there who you're competing with. So how are you managing price point? How are you managing, going against their, we're green and we're as green as they are?
Sure, I think by just sticking to our principles, which is making a great product with good materials and being true to ourselves, So because of the fact that the materials cost that extra bit more, we're producing it in Europe as well, which has an additional charge to it too. And because we have a full end-of-life solution in the form of recycling the jacket and creating that into a new yarn to create new products.
So this can become another jacket? Or another product at some
Another
point?
product, yeah. So as to whether it'll be able to be turned into another exact jacket like this, we're unsure. We're in testing at the moment, but it can definitely be broken into a new yarn, which can be used for at least things like thermal layers if you're going skiing, or socks or hats and things. But we're trying to test what the most technical product is at the moment that we can make from those yarns.
The last time I met you guys was at the Ignite Awards up in UCC, which are supported greatly by the local enterprise offices, and you had to do your pitch and you had to stand on stage, and you took your jacket off at one point, which I felt was a very Bucks Fizz moment, but thankfully there was another jacket on underneath it. You won an award that night, didn't you, Jack?
We did, yeah. I was delighted to pick up the award. The Ignite program's been hugely supportive to us since we joined in July. I think at the start we thought it was just a case of making a jacket and making a website, and we had a business, but there's obviously a lot more that goes into it. So thanks to Eamon and Michelle at Ignite, it's been really useful for us to kind of get a broader understanding of what we need to do.
And the whole purpose of Ignite is that, you know, you support businesses at that stage, then go to the next stage, which is further supported by the local enterprise office. And you've been doing the feasibility study as well with Leo, haven't you, Fiona?
Yeah, so we were very lucky to be introduced to local enterprise office through Ignite and to foster some great relationships there. So in January we had been successful in getting a feasibility grant through, which has helped us get into our first round of manufacturing of the jackets. So it's been a great support to work with the local enterprise office, and the point of contact there, Kevin Curran as well, has been really supportive.
And Jack, mentoring is a huge part of it as well. How did mentoring from the local enterprise office, and it is supposed to Ignite as well, help you get to where you are now?
It's been really beneficial to help us just go from an idea to test it in the market and have a bit of market validation. So it's really helping us kind of just develop the business to the next stage, getting the right advice, and it really helps you avoid pitfalls that are quite common to make when you're on your first startup.
So what do you say to people who have an idea? Like, yours is a hard one, guys. I mean, a lot of businesses come in and make sense. They might make a cake, or they might, identify something else that is simple. Yours is hard. There's easier ways to make money. So what do you say to people who might be on this stage of the journey, having a walk in Kinsale with their buddies and going, do you know what we should be able to do, and what we could do, and it'll be good for the environment? What do you say to them?
I'd say the first thing to do is make something that you can test. So whether it's a jacket or like you said, a cake, just have something physical and that you can introduce to people. You can get feedback and you can see if there's going to be a demand for it. And I think just get going is the main thing, because you're not going to figure it out by sitting idle and not having conversations with people.
Make the walk mean something. Bring it to an idea. And you have a website, Fiona, that people can look up, and they can have a look at the product and give you an indication as to where they can get their hands on it.
Yes, so we're available at www.zirkulu.com, which is our website. So we just launched our online store in July with our organic cotton t-shirts, merino wool fleeces, and as Jack introduced earlier, our endurance jacket. We're also available on all social media platforms at Zirkulu, Zirkulu.
It's brilliant. It really is a fantastic product. Loving the t-shirts, really loving the jacket. Best of luck with it, guys. Looking forward to seeing you pick up many more awards in the years to come. All right.
Cheers. Thanks, Jonathan.
Cheers,
and that is it for this episode. Make sure you join us next time on Red Business in Focus, where we'll be joined by Richard Goggin of Workwall. Workwall is an employee management software that has been designed to not just improve current management systems of the hospitality and retail industries, but also focus on employee well-being and help reduce the huge staff turnover that they sometimes have to endure in that sector. We look forward to hearing from Richard. That's next time on Red Business in Focus, with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices.